Okay, let's work on question number 2. Question number 2 says, which of the following is false about element IDs? Well, let's go over real quick to find out what an element ID is. So let's go to one of our elements, our physical elements that we can put in. So for example, let's say we're going to put in an image. And for the purposes of right now, I'm not actually going to add an image. That's just my space for an image. And let's say I change my image ID into, I don't know, blank image. And I used bad formatting. Here you go. So blank underscore capital image is my element, and I ID'd it with the name blank underscore capital image. Then let's look at all these possible answers. A says an element with a unique ID must always have an event handler associated with it. Well, here's my element. I gave it an ID, and in my code I have no event handler whatsoever. I haven't made it do anything. All that happened was I have a picture, and nothing else is happening with it. So that's false. As a matter of fact, that's likely the correct answer because it's looking for the false statement. But let's look at the other ones. B, any element that needs to be triggered by onEvent must have a unique ID. And that is saying that if I create some event like onEvent blank image when it gets clicked, or if I change it, if I do key up, key press, move mouse, whatever I do with it, I have an event with it. And this is my event handler. If I try to create an event handler without any actual item, so for example, if I named some element that doesn't exist, so let's say table, and I tried to run it, so like let's say I go back and do something with it. Like let's say we're going to have it print some statement, or set the text to text area 1, and I want to say you did it. Now again, keep in mind there is no table in my program, but this bit of the code is going to try to run a table that doesn't actually exist. And if you look at the bottom, it says warning, line 9, onEvent ID parameter refers to an ID that does not exist. So there's a serious problem with my code. So B is true. Any element that needs to be triggered by an onEvent must have a unique ID. The next one, C, 2 or more event calls may reference the same ID. Well, of course, I can do 2 different ones. So let's say if I reset this and I do something to button 1 again, but instead of clicking, we change it to mouse over. We're going to get rid of this one because right now it's just adding complications. So we have 2 different button ones. We have button when you click it and button when it's moused over, and then it's going to say you did it instead of here's math plus x. Watch. I'm going to run it, and I'm going to mouse over button, and it says you did it. And then I click on it, and now it says here's math 6. So 2 different things can happen with the exact same element. And then D says, while not a requirement, ID should be meaningful and descriptive. Well, yeah, that's true. They have to be, or not that they have to be, but they should be, because if not, what happens when I add for example, 4 different buttons? How am I going to know which one of them actually does what I want it to do? This is the only one that has an actual event on it based on hovering and clicking, but I don't know what the other ones are going to do if I don't actually organize myself correctly. And the last one, IDs allow a programmer to reference interface elements within their code. Same idea. How do I know if the code that I create is going to be applied to this button or this button or this button or this button unless I give it a meaningful ID? Alright, that's it guys. See you on the next one.